What if everyone in Jujutsu Kaisen turned into a vengeful cursed spirit when they died? Just how strong would Geto's curse technique be then? Let's talk about it. All right, shout out to All for One for hitting me with this prompt today, and y'all can pause to read the whole thing. But essentially, he's saying, what if this was a way more prominent thing in JJK? And not that literally everyone became a vengeful cursed spirit, but a lot more people did. Like, how would that interact with the story if basically all our good guys had the potential to become antagonists? Okay, so for starters, I think this would be awesome, but it would be a completely different story, right? Because that's such a huge change that it would need space to breathe. Like, I don't think we can just snap our fingers and make that the case in JJK. Like, I think it fundamentally changes everything. It would essentially turn JJK into a zombie story, right? Where everyone that dies basically then becomes an antagonist. And, would there be any room for them to retain their agency and not necessarily be like evil or, again, an antagonistic force? Maybe, but I think for the purposes of this example, we are assuming that they're just like strictly bad from there on out, right? So it would be cool to play with people's characters, like to kind of just amp up to 100 all of their worst qualities and their curse-like aspects, right? And this is something we've talked about in regards to specific characters in the past, like if there was a vengeful spirit Gojo, like based upon his identity crisis and how terrifying that would be given his strength. So yeah, I think this would be an awesome idea to play with, and it would make Geto probably the most powerful character in the series, right? Because he could theoretically get Gojo in his arsenal. Now, obviously, he would have had to kill Gojo to do that, but you guys get the point, right? As for as many powerful cursed spirits as there are, if we're going to turn every powerful sorcerer also into one, like, that's just crazy. And as far as how the cursed spirits themselves would react to their enemies then becoming their allies in this case, I think that would be another really interesting dynamic to play with, especially with Jogo, whose entire POV was that, like, hey, curses are the real humans, like we are the real inheritors of this earth. So it would be interesting to see him like kill people in order to bring them to his side, right? Because with this mindset, the more curses that there are, the closer he is to his dream becoming real. So I think it would be cool and like maybe even sadistic of him to like want to kill people to like help them in a way, to bring them to his side. But yeah, Geto in Kenjaku would be insane. And I would love to see a version of the story where Geto has this ability and turns dark earlier in the story and tries to kill Gojo in order to make him a spirit that he can then control in order to shape the world.